Hello gorgeosities, how are you all doing today? I hope you are well. Oh, I'm just tucking my blanket around me, my gorgeous Tracy blanket. Thank you, lovely. Yeah, I hope you're all okay. It definitely feels like the season to hunker a bit, doesn't it? Today was supposed to be dry. I checked the forecast last night and I was like, oh my goodness, it's going to be dry tomorrow. Brilliant, because I've got things to finish off in the garden. But then got up to more grey, more drizzle, more mizzle. Never mind, it says it's going to be dry tomorrow, so I can do today, tomorrow. And actually I'm just really grateful for this little moment now, a little sit and chat, because it's been a bit of a fraught, fractious morning. So I'm just going to enjoy this little mellow moment chatting with you all. So today, this sort of came out of a conversation with a friend recently-ish, talking about, you know, how I managed to be so kind of happy and live well on so little. And we talked about something I've mentioned before, that like some really standard things that I don't buy. So today it's all about things I don't buy. And I've mentioned before in my sort of regular shopping trolley, we might have a bit of traffic noise. I've come over here in order to try and get some natural light rather than having to use electricity lights. But because the road is wet, it might be a bit noisy. Apologies. Yes, back to what I was chatting about. Yeah, I've mentioned before there are certain things in my regular shopping trolley that I don't buy. So tea, coffee, milk, sugar, eggs, breakfast cereal, bread nowadays. So I'm sure that makes quite a big difference to my weekly shopping bill compared to others. When I say cereal, I'm talking about, say, I'm not buying some, you know, Kellogg's cornflakes. I do buy porridge oats, but I buy plain simple porridge oats and they cost a fraction of the price of Kellogg's cornflakes, for example. Anyway, this isn't about, some of it's the shopping trolley, but this is more about, it's kind of bigger things, I suppose. And I think, so I've got my clipboard, I've got my list ready. And there will be some things where, you know, I might occasionally buy something, but this is stuff that as a general rule, I don't buy. So let's dive in. So number one, I do not buy fast fashion. And by fast fashion, I mean the kind of stuff, after I read that book Less by Patrick Grant, I didn't realise how huge all of this was, because it's not stuff I look at, but you know, we all know about Temu and Shine and all that, but things like ASOS, and they are literally putting new styles out on a daily basis. There was a fact in there that was astonishing, something like, I don't know now, like 1,500 new styles a minute. Was it a minute or an hour? But anyway, crazy. So by fast fashion, I mean, I don't buy the stuff that's particularly very sort of fashionable in the moment. So for example, this summer, rah-rah skirts were back. I made my own rah-rah skirts back in 1982, 83. So I don't buy anything like that that's going to look really dated next year. Plus, I don't buy from those companies. This is cheap fashion, which, you know, there's questionable labour practices. These garments are almost designed to be worn once and thrown away. Goodness me. So I don't go for any of that. For clothes, these days, the vast majority of clothes come from, can't think of the word, charity shops. I was thinking Oxfam, because I was thinking we've got a really good Oxfam bookshop here. So the prices are more than regular secondhand places, but it's really, really good stock. Anyway, no, most of my stuff comes from charity shops these days, and I try to stick with, and for the most part I'm able to, natural fibres as well, so cotton, wool, linen, hemp, bamboo, etc. So that hopefully when my clothes do fall apart eventually, they're going to rot. going to compost. I have in the past occasionally also bought from some of the ethical brands I've talked about, like Braintree. Others have gone out of my head for a minute. I used to use the online shop Ethical Superstore. Now, a lot of their clothes are quite expensive. So, for example, a top might be £50, a dress might be £90. Crikey! So even when I was waged, I didn't rush out and get the stuff. I'd wait until they had a sale on, and quite often they'll have a sale on, and then there'll be a discount. They'll have a week of discounted postage and packaging, so it's only 99p. There might be further promotions, so I could stack the promotions, as it were. So a £90 dress, I might end up being able to get for sort of £25 to £30. But again, back to the fast fashion thing, none of the items ever looked like really high fashion that season. They're simple styles like a tea dress or a shift dress, things, or a tunic top, things that you can wear year after year after year, because they never particularly go out of style because they're not screaming a major style. So yeah, that's a very simple one for me. I don't buy fast fashion. I'd rather save up and buy really well once every few years. Okay, number 2, things I never buy. This is a definite never buy. Takeaways, whether that's food or drink. I still, to this day, have never ordered a takeaway meal. I've never picked up a phone and, you know, those things that come through your letterbox, the local pizzeria or the local Indian restaurant or Chinese restaurant. I've never done it. The closest I've ever come to having takeaway food is having a bag of chips on the beach. I love that. Is that takeaway food or fast food? Which category does it come into? But even that, it might be a bit more often now that I live by the sea, but it's certainly, historically, maybe 1, at most 2 bags of chips a year when I'm at the beach, because it's the law. But yeah, I've never had takeaway food. It's sort of anathema to me, I suppose. And again, this goes right back all through all the years when I've been waged. I look at it and I think, I might see, you know, pizza for 10 quid. And I think, well, I can go and buy a pizza base for £1.50. I'm not going to make the dough myself, but buy the pizza base myself, use my own tomato sauce and my own vegetables, make my own toppings, pop it in the oven, job is a good one. Yeah, it's never, excuse me, I'm looking at the notes I made. Takeaway food, it's just, I've always thought, and this isn't a judgment on anyone else, you do whatever you want, but for me, it just always felt like just a waste of money. You know, we all have to eat. I know that literally every day I know that tomorrow and the day after and the day after that I'm going to need to eat. So I'm just prepared ahead of time. Likewise with lunches for work, always take a packed lunch. There have been occasions when I've got to work and gone, I've forgotten to bring my packed lunch with me. Not often, but every night I go, oh my goodness, I've forgotten to bring my packed lunch. So on those occasions, yes, I would go to a supermarket, but I wouldn't buy one of the meal deal things because I don't necessarily want crisps and a fizzy drink with the sandwich. So very simply, a pot of hummus, a couple of carrots, you know, buy some loose carrots or whatever, maybe a small bag of nuts, an apple, piece of fruit, that will do me. Because those things are going to cost less than the pre-packaged meal deal type items. So yeah, it's a lot of it is it's to do with planning and being prepared. And for instance, nursing shifts are all over the place. I know lots of you are nurses too, or ex-nurses. So looking ahead at my schedule, I might think, you know, I'm working Tuesday, Wednesday, I've got Thursday off, I'm in again Friday, Saturday off, in again Sunday, switching to nights. So if I'm working Tuesday and Wednesday, then I know on Monday it's probably a good idea if I get all my food for the whole week ready on the Monday, so that for the rest of the week, if I'm really tired on the Thursday on my day off, I don't have to worry about shopping, cooking. It's all done. And that's one of the beauties of batch cooking. I've got to keep an eye on the time. Don't talk too much about each one. One of the beauties about batch cooking is I'm always making more than I need for that day or even for the next 2 days. So it goes into the freezer, and that means on those nights, coming home from work, absolutely dog tired, or even now, even though I'm not coming home from work, if I've finished, if I've been doing garden stuff or whatever, it's quite a physical day and I just feel pooped. Quick, grab something from the freezer rather than reaching for the takeaway menus. I don't know how much that saved me in my lifetime. I don't know what the average Brit spends on takeaway meals, but I'm willing to bet it's in the hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Likewise, I don't buy takeaway drinks. I've always got a bottle of water with me, always have done. So it's that thing again, isn't it? Be prepared. When you go out, have your water, or flask. You know, if you like coffee, make your coffee at home. Brilliant. Saves me a ton. Okay, other things I don't buy. This is a more recent one. I don't buy hair conditioner. I washed my hair last night. Yeah. I don't buy hair conditioner. We talked about this before. It came about by accident because I ran out of hair conditioner. And I must have been particularly broke that week or that month or something, because I thought to myself, I really can't spend, I don't even know how much it would have been, like £2.50 or whatever on a bottle of hair conditioner. I thought, no, can't afford it this month. It might have been when I just stopped work, paid, waged work, because that first year was really, really tight. Anyway, so by accident, so I did without shampoo for, the next few washes. It felt really, really odd because for as long as I can remember, you shampoo, you wash the bubbles out, you put your conditioner in, leave it for a couple of minutes. I always used to do it in the bath, leave it, you're in the nice warm bath, and then shower off the conditioner. So it felt really peculiar. But pretty much straight away, I thought, it's no difference. My hair is soft. Brushing it, there's no difference. It's not more tangly without a conditioner, because I've got really, really fine hair. It does get quite tangly, but having a conditioner on it didn't make the tangles any better. So yeah, within about, I would say 2 or 3 weeks, I was convinced that's it, not buying hair conditioner ever again. Yay! So it's been 8.5, coming up towards 9 years without a wage. How many bottles of conditioner would I buy a year? Maybe 4? Is that about right? I'm thinking maybe 4. And let's say they were £2.50 each. So 10 a year on hair conditioner, and coming up for 9 years, that's 90 quid that I've not spent just by not conditioning. Now, I know there's loads of you who are going to say that you absolutely have to condition your hair. Again, I get it, if you've got really dry hair or if you've got really curly hair. I think curly hair tends to be drier anyway. But I would say for most of you, a lot of you, try it. Try going without, just for sort of 2 or 3 weeks, and you might find, like I did, that you just don't need it. And then you'll be thinking, why have I done this for, let's say for me, and maybe I started using conditioner as a teenager, that's going to be 30, by the time I started, about 30 years of using a product I simply did not need. Brilliant! I was missold. So yeah, no hair conditioner. Oh, another conditioner. I've got a twitchy eye at the moment. I don't know whether it picks up on camera, but it's so irritating for me. That's just a sign of tiredness, because it's been quite a stressful time. I'm not going to talk about that in this video. Fabric conditioner, talking of conditioners. And again, I think this is one where we've been brainwashed to thinking that we need this thing. I talked about this at length in a previous video. I can't remember when. It was way early this year. I was still in London. But about how once upon a time we used to use soap to wash our clothes. And then it got to the stage where we had to have soap to wash our clothes and then fabric conditioner. And then that wasn't enough, so then we need scent boosters. And then that wasn't enough, so you need an in-wash and an out-wash of a scent booster and this, that. And it's all just advertising nonsense to make us spend more money. That's all it is. Yes, I have a healthy cynicism to all these products. So yeah, I stopped using fabric conditioner years ago. I think I probably still used it in my 20s. I'm not sure how old I was when I ditched it, but it is years and years and years ago. I occasionally use a bit of vinegar in the washing machine, just helps to kind of unsoap all my pipes and keeps all my pipes clean. And, you know, I'm lovely and soft without a conditioner. And also I think these conditioners have really quite cloying, strong scents, don't they? I like natural scents. I like the smells of plants in the garden. I like the smell of the salt on the wind. I don't like those really chemical, fake, cloying smells. Ugh. So yeah, ditch the fabric conditioner. And again, I don't know, so maybe I ditched fabric conditioner 20 plus years ago. That's going to have saved me a bomb as well. Okay, number 5, what don't I buy? Oh, this is quite an interesting one. I don't buy masses of different cleaning products. So I don't have a bathroom cleaner and a kitchen cleaner and a worktop cleaner and a floor cleaner and a window cleaner and a this cleaner and a that cleaner and I mean, I think there are probably different cleaners for pretty much everything in the house these days, aren't there? So I don't know how much money this saves. So for example, let's say you've got 10 different bottles of cleaners and you could just use one for everything. Well, if you were using one for everything, that one is going to go down more quickly because you're using it on, let's say, 10 different surfaces. So that's not particularly a saving in terms of money. It's certainly a saving in terms of faffing and fannying in the supermarket. But where it is a saving for me is just having really basic ingredients at home, like vinegar, bicarbonate of soda, lemon juice, that sort of thing. They are so good for so many different jobs. And like say the windows, literally just a little drop of soap in the water, my dish soap. It's a plant-based dish soap. It's very kind and what have you. If the windows are really dirty using the soap. If they're not really dirty, just wash them down, give them a spray afterwards with vinegar, and then a scrunched up bit of newspaper. I know it's really old school, but it works. It actually works to give your windows a lovely buff and a streak-free finish, and likewise mirrors. So I do that with my mirrors too. And when I cleaned, oh, you can't see any. I had that big cleaning session when I was still in London before the move of wanting to get all my artwork cleaned, because I thought, I can't remember the last time I cleaned all the frames. I mean, I dust them with the weekly dusting, dust the tops and around the frames, but the actual glazing, boy oh boy, I hadn't done it for ages and it really showed. The cloth was really grubby. So again, just water to wash the glass, spritz of vinegar, and then buff with the newspaper. Beautiful, streak-free, gorgeous, clear glass. It made so much difference. Like, oh, that's what colour that poster is. Fantastic. And of course, with the newspapers, we get exactly as I had in London. There are free newspapers available. So you don't even have to go to the expense of buying a newspaper. That might be the next category. Just use one of your local free ones. Generally, excuse me, so we have a weekly free newspaper here and then a fortnightly free newspaper. And generally what I'll do is with the newspapers, I'll always keep a couple. I'll always have a couple in the cleaning cupboard or the cleaning area. Otherwise, they go into the recycling, of course they do. So long as I've got 2 or 3 around in the cleaning cupboard, the rest can go in recycling. once I've used those 2 or 3, I won't recycle the next ones, I'll build up my 2 or 3 again. Because then just for the little things like when I'm refilling my ink pens, I always do it on newspaper just in case. I never have spilt, touch wood. But yeah, you get the gist. I'm sure loads of you use newspaper in your cleaning routines too. Yes, so talking of newspapers, number 6, something I don't buy. I used to, but I don't anymore. Newspapers and magazines. So I always used to get The Guardian on a Saturday. I used to like it for the longer reads. I liked it for there's a whole pull-out arts section, so it's arts reviews. Really good games section, so Killer. I love my Killer. I used to really like the Saturday crossword. Also, the sports, the sports section was a really comprehensive section on the football. So this is going back to the days when I could watch football on telly or go to the pub to watch football. And I really, really enjoyed it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And for me, at the time I was waged, it was worth every penny. Recently, I can't remember quite when, it might have been for a Treats for a Tenner one year. Yes, we're doing Treats for a Tenner again. Can't wait. I think it was one year I thought, as part of Treats for a Tenner, I'm going to get myself The Guardian on a Saturday and have all that wonderful reading and have that fun and all the games. But I was gobsmacked. I can't remember the price, but it was something like £5. £5 for a newspaper. Oh! So of course, look, I get the free newspapers here. I mean, it's not international news, it's hardly even national news, it's very much local. But there are so many other ways to access the news if that's what you want. And frankly, at the moment, I don't really want to know the news. It's too hideous mostly, isn't it? But libraries often have newspapers. You can look at a lot of newspaper articles are available online. There have been a number of times when Paul has sent me the link to a Guardian article that he's seen that he thinks might interest me. So yeah, great. Magazines, again, I think some libraries do some magazines. I haven't even looked actually at whether Swanage Library does newspapers and magazines. It hasn't been on my mind to look. I'll maybe check it out. And magazines, I mean, gosh, I used to, in my 20s, I used to buy Vogue and Cosmo and Tatler and all, so many. And I definitely stopped buying quite so many magazines by the time I was into my 30s. And then occasionally I would like things like, I used to enjoy Country Living. That was always nice. It always had lovely home ideas and nice visual stuff. And later on there was that magazine called, I think it's called Simple Stuff, Simple Things, Simple Life. I can't remember now. That's how long ago it was. But even with magazines, you start to see how they're just repeating the same things on a seasonal basis. Yes, fashions may change, but ultimately, around about the end of September, the magazines start being like, how to decorate your home for autumn, how to decorate for Halloween, recipes for Halloween. And it's kind of the same stuff that's just been rehashed a little bit. So yeah, I became a bit aware of that and thought, I've had 20 years of reading magazines. I've probably read everything that anyone's ever going to write about Halloween, for example. I'm just saying that because we've just had Halloween, so it's on my mind more. And also in terms of, when I was commuting, I'm always going to have a book with me, except there's a very few exceptions. I might finish a book in bed the night before, and the next morning I'm, getting up to go to work, and I just can't quite decide which book I want to start in on next. And those are the times when I would maybe buy a magazine in those days. But certainly for the last, I'd say 10 years at least, no magazines, no newspapers. I mean, that has probably, magazines are about £5, aren't they now, each month? And even if you bought one a month, that's 60. Well, if I was doing The Guardian, if it is about £5 a weekend, that's £20 a month just for one Saturday newspaper, plus a fiver for the magazine, £25 a month. That's £300 a year. Just gone. So yeah, I'd far rather, so with a magazine that costs £5, you probably do cover to cover in 2 hours. I'd rather buy a book from a charity shop for £1 or £2, or go to the library, even buy a new book. That's way cheaper. But yeah, I don't miss magazines at all. Occasionally I still quite miss that Saturday routine of curling up with the papers all afternoon. So Saturday morning, do your shopping, do your chores, do this, do that, and then the rest of Saturday is sofa, mug of hot chocolate at this time of year, blankie over me, newspapers, all the different sections, all spread around me, just dipping in, and it's like a smorgasbord of mental stimulation. Oh, I want a copy of the Guardian now. Saturday. Right, newspapers and magazines, no. Something I don't buy and I've never bought, TV subscriptions. And again, firstly, how much time is there in each day for watching TV? Well, there's not a lot. I tend to watch after 10 at night. So maybe between 10 and 12. There have been occasions when sleep's been really bad, and I try not to do this anymore. I try not to get up, but I might come through to the living room and watch between 12 and 3 a.m. I might watch something just because I can't sleep. But anyway, the point is, I just don't have enough time to watch telly to warrant paying for any of these subscriptions. I see them advertised and I think, I see them. There's one that's like it's ITV, for example, but without the adverts, so you can watch ad-free, and it's £4.99 a month. You think, that's not bad. But each different station, so Channel 4, Channel 5, if you want any of them ad-free, then suddenly you're paying £5 for that one, £5 for that one, £5 for that one, then there's Prime, and then there's Sky, and then there's... It's like I said, I don't have time to watch that much TV. And I'm okay with, so I watch most things on the computer via the various hubs. So my go-tos mainly are Channel 4, some Channel 5, the U channels, You and Yesterday, for example. And they're free. They're totally free, but they have ad breaks and you can't skip the ads. It's not like YouTube, you can't skip them. But fine, I get 12 minutes of viewing pleasure and then there's 3 minutes of adverts. While the ad break is on, get up, do some physiotherapy, do some calisthenics, whiz off to the kitchen and do the washing up from supper, whatever it is, or... There's always something I can do for 3 minutes, but the main thing is, get up and move. Great. So I am absolutely perfectly happy to have a service which is completely free. I just can't get rid of the adverts. Do something else. Right, we're getting there. Number 8. Oh, right, I'm going to rattle through these ones now. Number 8, I don't buy things with the word disposable in the title. Rarely. There are a few exceptions. Loo paper is disposable, but I think that's a really big money saver over time as well. So disposable, things like tissues or paper products, so kitchen roll, napkins, serviettes, all of that stuff I have cloth versions of. So yeah, initially, like washing up cloths, knitted ones. Thank you. I've had loads of knitted washing up cloths from you guys. I've got washing up cloths now to last me for the rest of my life. So that includes the kitchen washing cloths, but also the bathroom, my face washing cloths. I just think, that initially there's a bit more of an outlay. So a non-disposable napkin serviette, for dinner, might cost £5, whereas for £5 you could probably get a pack of 20 disposable ones. But that serviette napkin, that's going to last you, hopefully, possibly, if you look after it, your entire life. You can pick them up second-hand in charity shops too. I occasionally have them in my shop. I don't have any at the moment, unfortunately. But yeah, so a lot of those, just ditch the disposable paper products and swap for cloth. You'll save a ton of money. Likewise, things like I've also got here on my list, cling film. I don't use cling film. I have beeswax wraps, make them myself. They last not quite forever, but a long, long time. Drinks cups, even things like, yeah, so, I mean, that goes back to the fact that I don't have takeaway drinks, but yeah, I don't use a disposable cup. Yeah, I don't buy things with the word disposable in the title, apart from a couple of hygiene products. Right, number 9, holidays. So, I know this is going to be a bit of a controversial one. Someone wrote to me in comments recently to say that a holiday is essential. I disagree. I think a holiday is a luxury. You know, if we just go back to when we were in our late teens, early 20s, a holiday was a luxury. It's something you saved for. You might save 5 or 6 years for a holiday. And that might just be a holiday in Europe, never mind a long haul like Thailand or Mexico. That was a once-in-a-lifetime holiday, a holiday of a lifetime. So I think we've got a really weird mindset now that we consider it our right almost to have these faraway places, holidays. So I don't buy holidays, so I disagree. I don't think it's an essential in terms of buying an expensive holiday. That's a luxury. So I don't buy a holiday. However, I do agree that we all need a break from time to time. And I'm really looking forward to getting one at some point. Still haven't managed it, but I'm working towards it. But certainly being able to have a week off, oh, wonderful. But for me it would be, I'm going to have a week off. What can I do locally? There are all sorts of walks I'd like to do again that I haven't done for years. I don't know how far I'll get. But things like, you know, museums and galleries, or even my holiday might be, I'm going to have one whole day on the sofa with a book with no guilt because I'm on holiday. So I think it's a mindset thing. So no, I don't buy holidays. That doesn't mean I'm not going to have a holiday. It's just that I'm not going to spend a fortune on a hotel, on a flight, or even a train or coach. I'm not going to necessarily be eating out at restaurants. Although if I did have a holiday at home, which is a staycation, oh, this is one of my bugbears in recent years. If I went on holiday to, say, Scotland for a week, that is not a staycation. That word's been twisted around recently to mean having a holiday in the UK is a staycation. No, a staycation is when you stay at home for your vacation. But anyway, yeah, I don't know why I got onto that. I was mentioning not going on a holiday where you're buying expensive restaurant meals, you're eating out all the time because you're not at home, you have to eat out. But maybe if I had a week-long holiday, I could say to myself, well, I'm going to give myself a little budget. I'm going to give myself a 50 quid budget. And on one of those days, maybe I would go out to eat out for lunch. But yeah, I'm not going to buy a package holiday, a hotel, aeroplane, coach, whatever it is. Certainly not anytime soon. I wouldn't mind getting on a train and whizzing around Europe again, though. Right, and finally, finally, number 10, perfume. Bear with me, there's a bit of a misnomer. I was trying to think how to encapsulate this. It's more about brands. I don't bother with brands. I mean, I don't actually buy perfume. It's back to that thing of smelling. I mean, there are some perfumes out there which are really beautiful, like single note, but there's a cedarwood that Molinar do that I tried when I was in the south of France with my sister and we were up at Grasse, and she actually bought it for me behind my back for my birthday for the next year, and it was gorgeous, fantastically expensive, you know. Oh, someone's coming to my door. Bear with me. Good. Oh, just get my blanket back on me. Yes, so that perfume was absolutely beautiful, fantastically expensive. But generally, I'm not bothered about buying perfume. But it was my roundabout way of talking about brands. So it's kind of like back to the Kellogg's cornflakes. I'm just not bothered by brands. And I mean that with clothes as well. You know, if you want to put your logo all over my t-shirt or sweatshirt, why am I paying more for it? I'm paying more for something, but I'm advertising your product. How, eh? So, yeah, I have absolutely zero interest in brands, zero brand loyalty in terms of food, clothing. Oh, that's not strictly true, considering what's just arrived in the post. It was my Honest Toil oil, my next can of it. Yeah, it just... Maybe it's relating more to clothes. It just you're not convincing me that just by putting your name here that the clothes are better than ones that don't have a label here, and yet they're costing 3 or 4 times more in some cases. So yeah, stuff the brands. There are a few makes that, this is why I was kind of hedging my bets a bit there. So, for instance, my watering cans are Hawes, that's a brand. My secateurs are Felco's, that's a brand. They are really good brands, and their quality does show. Their quality has been proven over the years. So, yeah, I suppose it's more about food and clothing and, you know, shampoo and cosmetics. I think they're all much of a muchness. And when we pay for these brands, actually what we're paying for is their vast, humongous advertising budgets. We're paying them to advertise in magazines, TV, whatever it is. I did read a stat once years and years ago, cannot remember it, I apologise, but it was looking at perfume in particular, and you know how much the price of a bottle of perfume, I can't even think of any. What was the one my sister liked? Daisy, I think it's called. Bottle, it's got daisies on the top. Very pretty bottle. But let's say it was 100 quid. Something like 80 quid of that is to pay for advertising. And the ingredients actually cost very, very little. So yeah, there we go. I'm going to wrap it up because I've been going on long enough. So yeah, there's a few things I don't buy. 10 things I don't buy. Fast fashion, takeaway food, hair conditioner, fabric conditioner, masses of different cleaning products, newspapers/magazines, TV subscriptions, items with the word disposable in the title, holidays as in, you know, hotel, flight, what have you, and perfume. That means actually clothing and brands and all that sort of stuff. There we go. Right. I'm off to do... Oh, it's been nice to just have a sit and a chat though. I think I need to go and get busy again. So I will see you all really soon. I think I know what's coming next, but we might have to have a different order. So I won't say anything in case the order changes, but hopefully it'll make everyone happy. So until the next one, please look after yourselves. Cheerio!